Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Refresher, brought to you by the Recruitment Roundup and all of us here at BMS Performance. The Refresher is a much shorter episode than our usual episodes and is designed to provide key takeaways for a whole host of subjects that we talk about in relation to recruitment, sales training, and everything else that we speak about on the show. So hope it's really helpful. And yeah, let's get stuck into it. I'd like to talk about the traits of being both process and results driven.
Yeah.
I think these are
It's a good
these are
question
key traits, and they're two different, but finding the right balance is crucial, I think. And if you look at everything we've got at our fingertips now, all the technology, all the data, got more data than we've ever had. And we've got that at BMS. You've got more information at your fingertips, and it's been able to understand what to do with that and how they then form. And I talk about it a lot in this podcast, success metrics that you need to be able to, if you're hitting them, then the byproduct of that is probably going to be good outcomes on successes. So I'm keen to get both of your thoughts on that, on how important these traits are in the modern sales leader and what you think of them.
Yeah, no, it's a great point, Mike. It's a really great question. I think ultimately, and I am mad on process. I think, it's drilled within myself, but also it's drilled within what we look to do. But without any process or any structure, there is no way to measure success, right? It's when we break down obviously our sales cycle or any person, and that could be within any role that you do. It's important to have a process really, so that you can always look back to obviously when you're falling down, or you're looking for key behaviors, you're looking for trends and similarities over a period of time, right? So I think that piece is just so key for any sales leader, and that could be when you think about your recruitment process. I've spoken about it from a from a day from a tools perspective, but equally just having a process. And then on the other end of that is the results driven mindset. We speak about having access to data within obviously our roles, and having access to statistics, and all those things, all these KPIs and measures are great, but the top sales leaders, the top sales managers, it's all about having that hunger, that aptitude to want to drive those results day in, day out, year in, year out, really looking to achieve consistent, repeatable success, so falling in love with the process, and being really, really driven to, to want to take, the business forward every single year. Real, be it a trade, it's just real hunger and a real, it's a real something that's within people, really.
I would say this might be a contentious point, right?
Yeah.
But if you've got a sales leader that's purely results driven, right, they're the type of sales leader who will say, as long as a team written target, don't care what they do.
Don't care what's going on.
Right, because they've set measurable goals and outcomes, and that's what they define success as. The salespeople that work for that person will probably may enjoy it a bit more, may feel they get a bit more of an easy ride, right? The problem with, I think, purely results-driven leadership is if you aren't measuring it and monitoring it, how can you improve it? So when the results stop and you've not been understanding what the process is to get to the results, then it's impossible to know where you need to turn up the dial or where you need to change. Whereas with the other side of it, really, really process-driven leadership can err into the side of micromanagement, because you're just constantly focused on the little intricacies, where sales is more nuanced than that. You could have someone who's doing 50 calls a day and, getting 10, 12 really good conversations, and someone who's doing 100 calls a day and getting 3, 4. So there's nuances around it. So I think you've got to find a balance somewhere, Matt, on the trait of a sales trait that sales leader should be able to hire effectively. What are your thoughts on that as a key trait of what a modern sales leader should have in terms of ability to hire sales, the right type of salespeople, do it in a strategic manner? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's so many of these things that we talk about come back to that, I think. We all have seen companies waste time and ultimately money on getting their hiring processes wrong. There's a company that we talk to and have periodically done a bit of work with in the event space, who hired 25 reps into a 100-person sales team that we dealt with last year, and less than 50% of them are at the stage that they should be 1 year in to their journey.
Right. That's significant,
now,
isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And the discussions that we were in with them were we've hired the wrong people, maybe we were using the wrong methods to recruit the people. But for me, it's further back up the funnel.
Yeah.
It's what are you actually identifying as the traits and skills? So it's not ignore skills, clearly, if we're hiring experienced people, but the traits and skills that you absolutely have to have. And then let's build a list of those that are common across all of our good and excellent performers. Don't just build your hiring strategy around your excellent performers. You build it around your good and excellent performers, clearly not your poor performers. But what are those things that are common across all of those? And then don't go out to market and say that we need people who have all of those. You hire people who tick as many of those traits as you can.
Yeah.
And that fuels stage one. Okay, we've got a role, we're expanding, we want to grow, excellent position to be in. That's part one. Part two is, what are the existing traits and skills that our good and best performers all show? And let's build a job spec around that. It's absolutely same true for sales leaders as well.
Yeah.
It's the two big things that I get asked straight away. Every sales leader,
yeah.
They want the numbers to be right, of course. Okay. But largely speaking, if the numbers are right, then the two things that you're being asked is, what's the opportunity here? And every sales leader, every good sales leader asks that question. What's the opportunity here? I.e., what do they actually want somebody to achieve? How much freedom is there going to be given? What are they expecting us to try and do? How well is this product selling versus what the customers are actually saying about it? Is it great, but it's not being sold in the right way? Well, that's an amazing opportunity for a sales leader to go into. So that's number one, that you always get asked, what is the opportunity here for me? And then another one is the leaders themselves. What are they like? Are they realistic? Have they done this previously? Yeah. Are they fair? Are they going to give me a run at this? Are they going to let me own the decisions, or are they going to be the ones making the decisions that I just have to implement here?
Yeah.
And actually, it's very, very similar to the conversation you just had there, Sam, about what the reps are asking for. They just want that environment that, okay, as a leader, they can shape more, but ultimately it's still a cultural point.
Thank you, everyone, for listening to that. Hope it was really helpful, and we look forward to providing loads of great key takeaways in the future on the refresher, brought to you by the Recruitment Roundup. If you haven't yet subscribed to us or given us a follow, please do. It makes a huge difference. For those of you who haven't done this and want to know where to find us, we're on Spotify, we're on Apple, and we're on YouTube, and you'll see loads of content that goes out on LinkedIn. So be sure to check on that, and as I say, give us a follow. Thank you very much for listening, and hope this episode has been of great use.